Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. It is currently Sunday, November 10th. This is the Sunday of the Remote Duel YCS. And for those of you who keep up with me on Twitter, definitely follow me there. You get more updates on what I'm doing, what I'm keeping up with, general thoughts in general. But for those of you who have been following me there, I have been doing a lot of testing for the Remote Duel YCS itself. And what actually ended up happening was, obviously, I put a lot of effort into my deck. Me and my friend Nick, who I always mention on this channel, shout out to him because we both worked a lot of time onto this deck. But the point is, I put a lot of time into this, and then when we get to the main event, um, we both just get like destroyed. Not like destroyed, but he makes it a little bit farther than I do. I was out by round four. Not out. I was like X2 by round four, and at that point, I said it's too early in the tournament to go X2. I'd rather just go play the giant card and see how I do there. Which at that point, I ended up winning the giant card after that. So again, this seems to be a common trend with me. I don't know why. I enter main events and then my luck is just abysmal. And then I go to a side event and I do extraordinarily well. It's just a lot of variance, unfortunately, in this format. Like, for instance, my round one loss, I have written down just at least a part of it, where game one and two go pretty like standard. I win the dice roll. My combo, I win. He wins the dice roll. I only open up two mourners. I can't play. I lose. It was against Fire King Snake Eye. So one mourner is not going to cut it, as you know. And I play an abysmal amount of hand traps going second. And then game three, I go first. He opens up Ferraros, Ash, Imperm, Ogre, plus combo through a hand trap. So yeah, like two of that was pretty much like that was my round one. And then I had a similar experience in round three, where it was my second loss. So the point I'm trying to make is that there was a lot of variance in the game, and I don't think my deck choice was wrong. I actually really like my deck. It played perfectly. I actually never bricked. I do not have a single brick hand, which is awesome, right? So the deck that I wanted to show you guys and what I've been working on is Centurion, Azamina, Fiendsmith. So we'll call it that. You can make whatever name you want for it. We've been jokingly calling it FAC because of Eminem, but again, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this deck's really cool. The combos are super, super extensive, and the inboard is absurd. And yeah, overall, my opinion on the format, though, after playing in this event, is that I really don't like mulch armies. They, it's such a high level of variance of like, if your opponent has it and or doesn't have it, and then you have to play like not at just Ash Blossoms to like prevent it, which is annoying. It feels like such a luck based thing that I don't like. So overall, that is pretty much it. So, and then like I said, I won the giant card with this deck, and it's going to be a giant Lacrimo, which I don't know when I'm going to be receiving it, but they have to mail it out to me. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, this is a really interesting deck, and me and myself and Nick put a lot of time into this and been playing it. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy it too, and I'll show you guys the combo at the end of the video. Okay, guys, like I said, I played Centurion, Fiendsmith, Azamina. I'll explain it a little bit as I go, but I just want to get through the basic cards and then go from there. And if you enjoyed this deck, this profile, and you learned anything, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to play, we played 3 Primera, 3 Trudea, 1 Terraforming, 3 Stand-Up, 3 Emblema of Oath. These are the quote-unquote Centurion starters of the deck. There is more starters in this deck, but these are the Centurion ones. We just maxed out on everything. We were playing 53 cards, so we want as many starters as possible. And then for the Centurion brick cards, 1 Attri, 1 Wake Up, 1 Phalanx, and 1 Gargoyle. The only thing that I don't understand from Centurion, because like I said, we did a lot of research, we did a lot of testing, is the inclusion of Centurion bonds. I have no idea why this card is played. It does not make any sense to me. I've asked Twitter, people have answered me, and it still just does not register in my brain. The only application that I see from Centurion bonds is if you draw Attri or Gargoyle, and then you need to play an additional brick in your deck to then make it better to draw one of these bricks in your deck. Which in that case, I'm just not doing that. That's just bad, in my opinion. I don't think that's good. It seems not worth it. I saw Centurion players in the tournament playing bonds, and it did not do anything. The card it just does not do it. I do not understand what I think it was Pack who went undefeated with it and was hyping it up, and he said, "Oh, you just don't know the lines." I am willing to learn the lines. I cannot find them. They just seem awful, every line. So that's just my opinion on it. So I am not playing that brick. It did not do anything. I did not miss it either. So yeah, that is it for the Centurion bricks. Now, moving forward, we have the Azamina cards. So this is just the simple 3 Witch, 3 Wanted, and 3 Deception. These are also all starters, which is crazy. And the reason it's crazy is because if you guys have been keeping up with me, you also know that I've been messing around with a lot of Centurion builds, trying to find the one that feels the best. And the thing that matters is finding Centurion extenders that are full combo, that are not normal summon reliant. So when I'm saying that is because when I played Punk, Xiamen was a starter, but you also had, Trudea and Primera. And in the Punk build, you can play Foxy Tune to be a starter, Xiamen to be a starter, and Emergency Teleport to be a starter. But 2 of those eat your normal summon, so it's redundant with cards like Primera. You could also argue this with the Super Heavy Samurai build I've been playing, where Wakaushi is a starter and Bike is a starter. But again, you play a lot more bricks with that engine. If you draw 1 card, the whole engine doesn't work anymore, where as opposed to this, you get 9 cards that are equivalent to an Emergency Teleport starter because you do not use your normal summon. And then you only get to play 1 brick, and then that brick where the Big Benki, where if you draw it, the line just doesn't work, or with the, I'm forgetting the Punk brick, Deer Node, your combo just doesn't work anymore. With Hollowed, if you draw these, you're actually sometimes in a better position than you were if you didn't have it, where you can go like Hollow, Chain Wanted, and then you just feel really, really good. Granted, I never drew these 2 together this weekend, but point is that you have 9 Emergency Teleport type starters, which work really, really well together. So that's, again, more starters in here. And then on top of that, we also have 2 more starters in the form of Fiendsmith Engraver and Fiendsmith's Sanct. Both of these cards are also starters. Granted, these do require normal summon, but they give you so many avenues of play that it doesn't even matter. Like the fact that you have this and this, it's completely fine because you just don't need it. It's kind of hard to explain what I mean when I say you don't need it. This is a 53 card deck, so having like quote unquote 8 normal summons is like fine. And the point is that you have so many moving parts to this deck between the Abel Stars, the Centurion cards, the Fiendsmith cards, along with the Lacrima. You just really don't. It just flows very well. I don't know how else to describe it. And this engine was spectacular. This was honestly, I would never have done as well as I did if it wasn't for this engine. Before, we were only playing these 2. But then in testing, we realized that just playing these 2 makes both of these cards bricks. And if we add in a Lurie and a Tract, then you have a 2-2 ratio of bricks and starters, which we didn't want either. But if we put in the Sanct, you actually go to a 2-1 ratio of bricks to starter, because now Engraver and Sanct is a starter. And Lacrima, even if you draw it, if you don't have another normal summon, still gets you, I'll say, enough moving parts where you don't feel bad using it, right? If that makes sense. It'll extend with so many different things that it's still worth it, that it's fine. Like just this by itself, like at its worst, is a Desiree. So the only way that it doesn't work is if you have like this plus a bunch of hand traps or like specifically like other bricks, which in that case, you just use this to go into Desiree, stall for a turn with your hand traps and the Desiree, and on the following turn, because of where you're at now, you have full combo with Desiree, because Desiree can go into Requiem, and so on and so forth. So that's also full combo. So that is all of the starters of the deck. The other little package that we played was the Resonator and Crimson Gaia. These cards were outstanding. I thought these cards were going to feel like very bad to draw, and they don't. They feel great to draw, to be honest. So in like for other bricks in the deck, like Hollowed, Attri, Wake Up, Phalanx, Gargoyle, where they feel very bad to draw, Crimson Gaia and Resonator feel awesome because you don't have to shoehorn yourself into a different line that's like designated for these. You're able to kind of mind game your opponent because they don't know where your combo is going to go because of how much you're doing. And these are such, like Crimson Gaia being such a free card for Bellstar, or in the long game being able to consistently add back Vision has come up a lot too. Yeah, these cards are just awesome, and I really, really like them. So that is it for the main engine stuff. For the non-engine, we played 3 copies of Ash, Imperm, Veilers, Ogres, 3 Bestials of 2 Druisworm and a Magnemite, 3 copies of Droll, and then 3 copies of Mourner. These are just fine. The Droll slot used to be Bell, but then Fire King Snake Eye Azamina has been picking up so much steam and has been projected to be the best deck of the format, along with normal Snake Eye, where with the Fire King cards, Droll and Whopper is super relevant against that deck, especially being able to search Hallowed Azamina. In the same vein, that Droll just seems too good not to play. And you have enough gas to where like you can just play through it after you Droll them, because they're going to end on still like 1 or 2 interruptions, but you can just play through them. It's not that big of a deal. The good thing about this little package that we're playing is that it doesn't have a lot of like darks and fires. As you can see, it's only Bestials and Ash. So the other hand traps, Mourner, Droll, Ogre, Veiler, and Imperm, as you know, a lot of people are playing Dark and Hita. So because of this kind of specific hand trap lineup, we aren't getting heated and dark. I noticed a lot of times that people, after I was interrupting them, they kept asking like, "Oh, what's in your graveyard? What's in your graveyard? Do you have any darks or fires?" Et cetera, in those matchups. And a lot of the time I just didn't because of just how my hand trap lineup was. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't have anything special to say about the hand trap lineup. It was just hand traps overall. So that is it for the main deck. Like I said, it's 53 cards. I know that is a big number, and it is, kind of a scary number. A lot of people don't expect that. And that's another thing about this event, is a lot of people were asking, or it was actually proper to ask people how many cards they were playing, because you get a lot of information with getting that, because you can really pinpoint on what someone's playing because of that. And 53 cards, nobody really knows what you're playing. It's a complete toss-up. Ignore this black feather counter. I was just using this as a token. For the extra deck, 1 copy of Auxilia, 1 Legatia, 1 Primera Primus. I'm sure the Centurion people are going to eat me alive for this, but I promise you, I never needed more of these. In this deck, you have there is options to where you can make both of these on turn 1. I promise you, it is like never correct to do this. You're just burning through the Legatia for no reason. You just get a draw. Where in retrospect, you are able just to make this Crimson and then Crimson on your opponent's turn. Or even if it's like just this in Crimson, because this adds no innate value. Like this being here doesn't matter, right? It's just a draw, which again is fine, but you lose out on a long game. So like you just don't need this, in my opinion. I think you're just wasting resources. You're going through a lot more. Where I'd rather have like the trap in the graveyard still and go a Blazar on my opponent's turn. I never needed the second Primus. I never needed a second one of any of these, to be honest. This was completely fine. I never had any issues. You have 2 long game Centurions, and then the 1 for the main combo, and then of course the 1 Crimson Dragon, and then 2 Cosmic Blazar Dragon. I still miss playing 3 of this card, but it's fine. It's proper to play 2. It's definitely correct. Yeah, this card's just broken. Every time I make the end board, it's 2 of these, and then more stuff on top of it. I'll show you. It's an unbreakable board. I've never lost a game. I've made the full board. For the Azamina cards, 1 copy of the Silva and Rikyokago, whatever it is. Yeah, again, these cards are just insane. This is probably like the stem of this deck, because we were playing Centurion for so long. And then once we were playing the format and realizing how just absurd these cards are. Like, they're so broken. And how much long game you get out of the Azamina cards. It's a no normal summon. You have long game with Deception, Wanteds, Hollowed every turn. You can summon the Silva. It's so broken. And they have to respect this with hand traps too. So you always start with the Azamina cards. That's like your checks for everything, right? It's really important to understand that, because Witch is going to get interrupted. So when you summon Witch, Witch itself checks for Veiler, Imperm, and Mourner. So that's 3 hand traps. If it resolves, you go to the next one. So then you get Deception. Then you use Deception, and then that checks for Ash and Ghost Ogre. So just that engine alone, starting out, checks you for 5 different hand traps. If that resolves, then you're checking for Molcharmies half the time. Perulia would have been used earlier, so you don't have to worry about it. Ferraros gets used on the Hollow. That would be the first time your opponent would probably use the Ferraros effect. So just with the Azamina engine, you're able to check for practically every hand trap in the game. Oh, it also does Droll too, after you search with Deception, so you get Drolls out of the way as well. So you get a lot of different, this engine just checks everything, which some people would say is a bad thing. But while you care about your Azamina engine, you really don't, because this is a Centurion deck, and you're not using your normal summon to do all this. So it's completely fine if your opponent is throwing cards at the Azamina engine just to then fold to a double Blazar, double draw line coming in after, which I think was really, really strong. I think it's why it performed well in the Giant card, at least. Continuing on with the Fiendsmith engine, 1 copy of Moon, 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, 1 Aerial Leader, and 1 Desiree. Again, these cards were amazing. We weren't playing this in the first build, and then as time went on, I realized that you just need a threat, like a long game threat, where you're able to just constantly recycle it, which is broken. Engraver can always put this back, or Sequence can always put it back with going into Aerial Leader or something, and you can make this an infinite number of times until it gets banished, but like still, then that means they use a resource on it. Yeah, like this engine's just crazy. You're also, the cool thing about this is that because of going second access, you are not using Necroequip Princess, so the equip for Requiem doesn't get used for anything really. So in this build, the Engraver send effect feels really good. You never have to make a choice of going into Necroequip or sending away a problem monster. You can always just send away a problem monster, and then against the Fire King deck, that's really good. I sent away a lot of fire monsters, trying to prevent a Garunix in the graveyard. Yeah, so it just worked out really, really well. And yeah, so that's it for that engine. And then for the last like 2 pieces of like not exact engine was SP Little Knight and Chaos Angel. Both these cards came up a good amount of times. I think this extra deck is perfect for this deck. I really used everything. The only I used this the least, but I still made this like at least like 4 times. So I don't think you can cut this slot. It just feels too good. Of course, with the Bestials and with the Fiendsmiths in here as well, Chaos Angel comes up a good bit. SP Little Knight is excellent for going second. Of course, the Fiendsmith engine being able to go, you can literally go Engraver, send a card, make Sequence, make Desiree, and then the Desiree and the Sequence can then go into Little Knight, and then Little Knight and Desiree also clear cards, and that's all not destruction. So against the Fire King decks, that was really, really good. It helped a lot, and I was able to push through a lot of boards because of those lines. And yeah, so I'm really, really happy with this extra deck. I really wouldn't change anything. So yeah, overall, that is it for the extra deck. And for the side deck, very quickly, of course, we have to play 6 Mexies. I really don't like these cards. Again, it just feels sacky. Anytime you go second post side, you just know that there's 6 Mexies in their deck, and your life just gets like insanely harder if they draw one. It's really hard to build your deck around it. Luckily, Centurion can play decently into them. You can just end on like Blazar, 1 or 2 Blazars, but if you do the Primus line, then they drop Ferraros. It feels a little bad, but it's okay. So I don't know. I just don't like them. I think they're not my cup of tea design choice wise. Then I played 6 going first cards. 3 Floodgates there can only be 1 Skillet or Anti-Spell. These cards are still playable, so I still play them. And then 3 copies of Deck Lockdown. All of these cards are used for Tempai, and of course, like the Fire King decks too, but you have to choose which ones of these you want in those matchups. But for Tempai, all 6 go in, and you're just like making them go first, and then trying to draw into these with attris or Legatia, so that you can just lock them out of the game, because Tempai cannot kill you through at least these 5. This one's variants, but these 5 minimally, they're not killing you through. It's like impossible. So yeah, I like these a lot. I played 2 Cosmic Cyclone. This is kind of like a variance card. This is for the mirror match. It's like okay against the Fire King deck. Any trap deck really. I saw like a Runic Stun player playing. So it's just like it's hard for me to make a deck going into a YCS level event and not have some form of spell and trap removal. So I think this was fine. It came up like twice, so it was fine. I did play 2 Centurion mirror matches, so it worked out. And then 1 copy of Scarrite Dragon Archfiend. So this card is actually kind of funny. So other than being the card to beat Time Wizard, the other application of this card is you actually get synergy with Crimson Gaia with this, which is kind of cool. Has it come up? No, but it's just something that we realized after putting it in, that you actually get some kind of synergy when you side this in and you use it. So I think that's kind of interesting as well. Yeah, except for the side deck, I don't think anything was like too bad. Maybe the going first Floodgates can be reevaluated. I'm not sure. I don't know. They feel like they underperformed, especially Anti-Spell. Anti-spell really didn't feel necessary. This I drew and it was already winning. I didn't even need it. Skilled run. And I actually, no, not thinking about it, I never used any of these to win. Deck Lockdown won me a game, but these never did. So maybe those three should be reevaluated, but we'll see. Oh yeah, and going second, your number of hand traps in your deck, even though you're playing 53, like I said, you completely just side out Engine, and it's fine because you have so many starters anyway. So you can side out like a good like 5 or 6 starters, and it's still fine. You'll still be drawing okay. And then with the Moltarmies too, you also like +6 to the amount of hand traps in here. The math just works out really in your favor to draw a lot of hand traps going second. So we did this whole, the hypergeometric calculator thing, and it worked out really well. So overall, I really like the deck. I want to show you guys the combo really quickly. So I'll show it to you with any one of these cards, Deception, Wanted, or Diabel. I think that's like the best way to do it. We'll do, I don't know, we'll do Wanted, I guess. They all end on the same thing, so it's not that big of a deal. So the thing I want you to remember is this is kind of like a heavy investment early, but you are heavily rewarded for it going through, and you check for a lot of hand traps as well. And that really matters here. Also, the Witch Body being on the field is also really important. So I'm just going to use other cards. We'll use hand traps. I'll just go Ash, 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 and Imperm. Sure. And then Wanted. So we'll go Wanted, get Witch. We'll special Witch. I'll just send this Imperm. Witch effect. We'll grab Deception effect, sack for Hollowed. Hollowed effect. Send these. Search for Sagiago effects. In this line, you're going to grab another Deception, but there's other lines where you don't. Sometimes you get another Wanted. It just depends on how you started. So just keep that in mind. Like, this is never just like a free choice. You always have to think a little bit of which one you want. Link those two into Moon, and then you can use Hollowed. Put this back, and then this also checks for Bestials too. Also very relevant. So yeah, get Hollowed back. Activate Deception. Activate Hollowed. So now you get like 2 Deceptions in rotation for the end phase. So you're safe for what's it called? To use Wanted. So that's like one of the cards you're gonna get back. Then you can use the Moon. That's gonna go into Requiem effect. Again, I only completed this combo I think 2 times the whole day. So like I'm not saying that like this is gonna go your way all the time, but it is the point is that it checks hand traps like no tomorrow. So it's really, really good. Summon the Requiem, and then if they have a board, this is where you engraver to equip and send something. Link 2, go into Sequence. Sequence effects, you put back. Weaving Lacrima in here. The reason we do that is because you can summon it on your opponent's turn. If this sequence goes to the graveyard, you can bring it back, and then you have another line of play to go back into the Fiendsmith engine, which is really, really good. So yeah, sequence, diffuse. We're going to summon Aerial Eater effect to be able to dump the, what's it called? The Vision Resonator, Vision effect for Crimson Gaia, add back. And then we're going to special the Vision Resonator because we have a level 5 or higher Dark from the Silva. And then again, even if you had to use this earlier, you didn't use your normal summon in this line, so it's completely fine the normal summon here, and you still have full combo. But yeah, so here we'll special it, Synchro, and then this is where you pivot into the Primus line. So now you have like complete availability. So just something to keep in mind is that let me move my side deck. Is that you have to change the combo changes depending on if you use your normal summon or not. Of how what's it called? Can't think of the word. Like not consistent. Like I guess safe you want to play it. So in this line, I'm gonna go Oath for Primera. If I can find her. Primera, summon, Primera, effect to search, get stand up. Then we can go stand up effect, stand up. And as you can see, like we're using a lot of our hand, right? Like this is the only scary part about this, but again, if you get to, when you do this, you also are able to use the draw of Wanted earlier, so you can kind of pick which card you want to send. But again, you're going to get this return. It's a big return in investment. That's the main thing I want you to take away from this, is that you're getting a big return on investment. yeah, so again, stand up for Trudea, put up, put back. Summon this as a level 8 just to be safe. But then yeah, use Trudea's effect. Put back Gargoyle. Gargoyle effects. Summon as a level 8, and then you synchro these two into Auxilia. Auxilia and Gargoyle. Add back. You get Wake Up. And then you can go Wake Up effect. You can summon a level 4 token, which would be this. Synchro these two. Go into Crimson, and then Crimson shuffle back. To summon Blazar. And then you can use Wake Up in the graveyard to dump the Phalanx. And then from here, you have a choice of what you want to do. So sometimes you can, if you want to leave sequence, you can. You don't really need this Phalanx in here. It doesn't really add anything other than like nice to bring back Auxilia if something does go wrong. But you can use Phalanx to bring back the Primera Primus and then just link again for an SP Little Knight. Just as like one little extra layer of something. And then of course use your one to draw. Banish, put back. Just to get an additional draw for something, I don't know, sure, there's a Mourner. And then during the end phase, you get like the ultimate setup. Auxilia can put back Primera, and then Deception can come back. So you are very locked and loaded for the future. So you have Crimson Gaia to be able to get back the Vision. These two are going to get you more follow-up and go into Blazar number 2. And then, so again, you get more follow-up. So let's just say you can't Primera for Primera, but point is this is just a follow-up card. As well as Prima still being in here if this gets sent. If this gets used, you are able to use Hollowed to put it back to threaten, what's it called, another one on the following turn. Of course, Blazers are going to come back. SP Little Knights like baiting a battle phase as well. And yeah, that is the main, that's the Azamina. This is the, at least the combo with Hollowed, the Azamina cards. And again, this one obviously does not, is not using Attri. But of course, depending on the rest of your hand, you are more than welcome to do it with Attri. An important thing to note is if you open up like Deception plus Primera, you can do all of this. And then instead of doing the Vision Resonator line, you just make Desiree. So then you get to a point where you have Desiree, Sylvia, and then you can just normal summon Primera, and then you do the normal Attri line to draw 2. So that's a line where you get like Desiree with sequence equipped to it, Sylvia, Auxilia, double Blazar, draw 2 as well, on top of the one to draw as well. So again, this is just like the baseline combo if you have like nothing except for Azamina, but the minute you combine it with something else, the board also just ends. It's like literally the same board, except for this Little Knight is like a Desiree, equipped with sequence, and that's it. Which is, again, like, you're not breaking this. This is like an impossible board to break. So, yeah, that is the combo that I want to show you guys what I played. And I hope you guys liked it. Again, it's something a little different. I went on YouTube and I was looking up Centurion Azamina decks. Fun fact, it doesn't exist. We are probably the only people doing this. So it's something unique. I hope you guys enjoy it. And please subscribe if you did. But yeah, I'm very tired and I'm going to just continue relaxing on my Sunday. So overall, again, thank you guys for watching. And shout out to Nick for, you know, helping me come up with this. We both worked really hard on this. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.